What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we are heading back to your favorite space Amish, the people of the Light Tribe of Moon Colony. Last time in our episode of Moon Gundam, Jutta joined the Light Tribe warriors, and the team went out to find just what this medicine thing is all about. Jutta ran into the Varguil and helped unleash its funnels. In this episode, the Atalante 3 crew will head to Moon, and Jutta ignores Saki for Mineva. So let's get into this. The Varguil unleashes its funnels on the GM3 powered. The Theta Plus pilot can once again feel the presence of someone else on the battlefield. Another new type. She communicates with the GM team who is complaining about having to help her, even though the GM team was never needed to begin with. She goes in to help them. Captain Gennaro tells the team that Agos went to look for Mineva, who is still drifting out into space. Meanwhile, Jutta's grandfather is still looking for Jutta when the Theta Plus flies past him. Jutta uses his new type powers to sense his grandfather is in danger and takes control of the Varguil. The RS Jar Jar comes to support Agos. Jutta jumps out of the mobile suit to find his grandfather passed out. He wakes up and points his trident at the mobile suit. Aw, so adorable. He thinks he could take it. Theta Plus moves in on Jutta and his grandfather when Jutta grabs the trident and throws it at Theta Plus. It happens to hit Theta Plus's transformation system and it pulls back. No. I just made a joke about how silly this looks. You can't turn around and actually make it a reality. Before going in for the attack, Saphira felt sorry for attacking another person with new type potential. She is grateful to that boy who just found the most non-violent way to end the battle, something she never would have thought of. Jutta is sad about losing the trident, but his grandfather just laughs. Agos and the Varguil comes to pick him up. Out in space, Jutta grabs Mineva and the two finally meet. He tells her that everyone is looking for her. Back on Moon, Saki runs into Sarasa, asking if the warriors are on their way back to the colony. Lady Sarasa is talking to someone and calls Saki rude for interrupting. They are returning, although it wasn't completely as planned. Renault doesn't like the setup they made with the Atalante 3 crew. They wish to dock with Moon in exchange for helping the colony with their needs. He doesn't want to allow them inside the colony and is okay with them making repairs in the docks. But this is the only way the Atalante 3 crew would agree to work with them. Bitch, you're a space Amish looking for technology you can't create. I guess beggars can be choosers. He believes the same thing that happened 4 cycles ago will happen again. Also, I love the idea of the Argama's visit to Moon and Double Zeta greatly affected the lives of the Light Tribe, but for Bicha, it was just a Tuesday. Stupid Bicha. Mineva comes in and interrupts them and says that her people will remain outside if that is what they want, but she wants to help the colony with their repairs, and she tells Renault that Zeon never forgets debts. The Atalante 3 crew are given permission to dock with Moon. They all gossip about how the colony was created during the Anno Domini time as a base of operation during the Great Colony construction. With a few exceptions, they have remained an uncontacted tribe for 100 years. Everyone is interested, but Captain Gennaro tells the crew that they need to keep contact with the people of Moon to the bare minimum. He directs this towards Agos as though subtly telling him to not get close to Jutta. Wait a minute, Captain Gennaro is a girl? Damn you androgynous manga art style. The kids are happy to return. They said it felt like it was 3 months even though it was 3 days. Jutta goes to talk to Mineva, but is blocked by Renault, who takes her to go see Sarasa. Back on the Klopp class, the GM team is complaining about the repairs. He could solve this by upgrading to a Jetta, but he doesn't want to change his mobile suit. Saphira is debriefing Captain Lara. She has Jutta's grandfather's spear. The captain says she is the first pilot to ever get harpooned. They are summoned to the bridge. There is an encrypted message for Saphira. Remember, she has been selected as a Londo Bell member and has special privileges. Within the message contains the words Moon. Back on the colony, Jutta's grandfather, Carol Kasim, shows the Atalante 3 crew the psychoplates. His name is Carol. I don't have to call him Jutta's grandfather anymore. Carol thinks that they are all just scrap pieces, but they note that these plates are all machined in a particular way and they have thrusters on them. However, one thing is interesting is that it only has thrusters, so there isn't even some kind of psychomo receiver on it. Does that insinuate that new types are full-on telekinetics and can lift anything with their minds? That opens up a lot of questions. One crew member says that Carol knows a lot about the world, more so than other Moon members. He tells her that he isn't a native Moon member. 40 years ago, he was originally a drifter who came across left the colony and lived out their life with no further contact from the outside world. Mineva tells Sarasa that her crew will be able to make all the repairs that they need. Renault will tend to any needs that Mineva and her people may have. As they make their leave, Sarasa tells Saki that everything that Mineva said were not her own words. And they're not. They are the words of Haman and the Zabis that have been passed down. Captain Gennaro is making backup plans with the outside as she isn't sure that they could trust the Light Tribe. Mineva looks up to see the cattle. Mondo and Rasara activated the cattle 4 years ago during their visit in Double Zeta. Renault tells Mineva about how they were once used to help in construction. Now they are symbols that represent the powerlessness of technological civilizations. Renault says that what happened 4 years ago changed everything. So dramatic. I am pretty convinced that the Light Tribe created a holiday out of the events of Double Zeta. And I am also pretty sure that Karasun didn't remember a damn thing because she was drunk the whole time. One man's religion is another man's hangover. I think Bright said that. Jokes aside, changes were actually made when they saw the power of the Gundam Double Zeta. The priests that once remained loyal to Sarasa became an influence of their own. They were exiled back to the old temples and once again became a monarchy. So they aren't as slovenly as the manga made them out to be in the first issue. But because they need medicine and must rely on machines, their culture is now fractured, and they blame it all on the events of what happened 4 years ago. All because the cattle moved once. Back in the hangar, Agos is mad that the Varguil is being chosen to test the Gundam head on his mobile suit, even though during the previous battle, the Varguil's head was half melted. Plus, he is the only mobile suit with a Psychoma system. They note that this head is in the Titan's colors. They find it quite dreadful. The Atalante 3 team are put up in a house that happens to have electricity and running water. I guess the Light Tribe just stays away from the mansion normally? Gennaro feels a sense of nostalgia as they look off into the distance to see the Light Tribe having a festival of sorts. At this festival, Jutta is hanging out alone when Saki comes to join him. Saki recognizes that she was short-sighted in the past, but she cares for Jutta, so she will learn to love his desire to learn about machines. Jutta says she never smiles. Saki realizes that Jutta has Mineva on his mind. He isn't even listening to her. Saki gets up and runs away. The Atalante crew have dinner with the members of the Licht family, who happens to be Renault's father. Renault is joining as well as his mother. He says that the Light Tribe have maintained their ways for a century, but they aren't ignorant to the outside world, and the need for some semblance of ambassadorial representation is needed. The Licht House, along with the Suzerain House, acts as representatives for Moon Moon. In this house is a collection of art and culture of Moon Moon. Renault's father is passive-aggressively upset with his son for becoming a warrior instead of an ambassador like the rest of his family. Renault's mother takes her leave. Later, Mineva overhears Renault arguing with his mother. He apologizes to her, but Mineva says if your parents turn their backs on you, then all you have to do is make them look at you. She then walks away and doesn't look back like a boss. Renault sees a lot of the late Rasara in her. Later that night, Jutta sneaks into Mineva's room to talk to her. Back in the hangar, they finish putting the Gundam head on the Varguil. Now with the added head, the Varguil Gundam will be able to control the psycho plates. One man jokes that they should paint the unit white. Agos is trying to run tests with the new head, but the Psychoma system isn't working with it. Someone mentions that Agos' psycho waves are weak, but they remind him that he was able to do it last time. Agos realizes that it wasn't him that activated the Psychoma system, but rather Jutta. Jutta takes Mineva out to the place where his tribe takes all 13-year-olds out for a spacewalk. She is hesitant at first, but explains that the two had a connection. She still denies until she falls off of Moon Moon. Jutta goes to grab her when the Gundam head activates. Mineva no longer denies that they have a connection. She tells Jutta of the Great War that killed half of humanity. Ah yes, the 1-year war. Such a romantic story. Saphira is traveling in the Theta Plus core fighter. The FXA-07 GB3 core fighter Theta Plus model is similar to the Neo core fighter of Double Zeta. However, unlike Double Zeta, it doesn't have the vertical fin and has increased armor. With Double Zeta, it required 3 people to operate, but after Neo Zeon's assets were seized after the first Neo Zeon War, the Baowu's wireless guidance technology was integrated and now only requires 1 person to operate. However, long-distance communication is hindered due to Minovsky particle interference. It is equipped with Vulcans and a micro-missile launcher. She flashes back to her encrypted message with Captain Bright. She wants to know about his experience with the colony of Moon Moon. He obliges but suggests that she has a little bit of restraint. Out in space, Mineva catches Jutta up on the past 90 years of Universal Century. She says that she wishes that the world could understand the way Jutta and her understand each other. Aw, that is a touching moment. Anyways, what's happening in the hangar? Oh my god, all hell is breaking loose. The head is activating and everyone is panicking. Suddenly, the psychoplates begin moving. Mineva and Jutta return to the colony. She finds a nest of praying mantises. Manti? He says he relates to the 1 in 100 survival of the praying mantis as a metaphor for his grandfather's teachings. Perhaps war exists because there are simply too many people. All of a sudden, Neo-Zeon mobile suits take off. Mineva wonders what is going on. Back at the ambassador house, Captain Gennaro holds the Lick family at gunpoint. She accuses him of kidnapping the princess. Out in the distance happens to be Saphira, scouting the colony. She is blending in by wearing traditional Light Tribe garb. She is confused as to what's going on. Jutta and Mineva run back as fast as they can before the two sides tear each other apart. And that will do it for this episode. We are starting to see the Frankenstein that is Moon Gundam slowly start to form. Now that Jutta activated the Varguil's new head, it can now control the psychoplates, just one step closer to the pivotal Moon Gundam. In our next episode, Mineva and Jutta will activate the cattle, once again pissing off the Light Tribe. Saphira will run into the Outsiders, and the colony will be attacked by the mobile armor Medusa. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, if you have that connection, always shoot your shot. Peace.